Happy 2022, y'all. Oh man, it's a 222 year. I feel so good about this year. I will say that from 2019 to 2021 was a year of just great learning and healing and deeper understanding of myself and of others even. And this morning I was listening to the 4 Agreements. So easy sometimes for me to listen to book audios. And I was on the agreement of being impeccable with your word. And what I started evaluating about myself last year is places where I was inconsistent or non-committal with myself in my life. And I started evaluating this in a very gentle way. I think sometimes we can be really hard on ourselves and have this self-talk that is very defeating versus uplifting. And so this year, I want to really invite you all to explore gentle, loving, compassionate self-talk and to extend gentle, loving, compassionate talk to others. There were so many instances where, I learned how to better communicate. I learned where in the past I wasn't the great communicator that I thought I was. And I saw opportunities for growth in my own communication. So it's one of those things where you take accountability, yet don't beat yourself up. Don't judge yourself. Really find the root of the challenges that you're having in your life. The challenges you're having with routine, the challenges you're having with communicating with others, the challenges you're having inside of, being loving each day, being grateful, or finding those spaces to do so, and get to the root of why you are operating the way you are, why you are showing up the way you are, and get to the root of that through this practice. So I always talk about meditating. For me, the one thing that I cannot compromise is my meditation practice. I have to have at least 5 minutes of meditation each and every day, at least. And for me, it's always going to happen in the morning. And it's always going to happen before bed. So I really got real with myself at the end of last year. And I was like, we need more intense self-care. Okay? More responsibilities, intensify self-care. Okay? So not the other way around. Intense responsibilities, decrease self-care. No, we don't want to do that to ourselves because we're operating from a space of, holistic deficit, when it comes to our well-being. So we definitely want to make sure we're taking time with ourselves. This month, I want to really share something with you all. Subscribe to the newsletter if you have not already. We're going to be talking about how you wake up. I woke up like this. What is your I woke up like this? How are you waking up? How are you going to bed? What are you doing on your lunch break? So we're going to be talking about a lot of those things on the newsletter, okay? We are also going to be getting into sharing more about some of the things that I have going on creatively because a lot of people have asked. One of the ways to really explore, it's a little loud outside, so I hope you all can still hear me well. But one of the ways to really explore the creative side of some of the things that I've been doing with poetry and writing is through Journal the Journey. So I want to definitely share more with you all about Journal the Journey. Journal the Journey is going to start in February instead of January, and that is for me to practice intense self-care before we go into Journal the Journey together, which is a yoga and journaling immersion with me. And so I want to make sure my cup runneth over when we start Journal the Journey. So I'm going to be taking the month of January really to not only share tips about, how to wake up, how to go to bed with holistic practices and simple things that you can do that are accessible to you each and every day, your breath, your body, the moment of pause that we can allow ourselves, writing. So it's going to be a lot of different tools I'm going to share with you all, even sounds that can help you to have a healing sleeping experience and a healing daytime experience. So I'm really excited about that, but I want to talk about being impeccable with your word. And words, I always say words are like spells. So I've been really being extra mindful with my words and even the words that people place upon me. And so it's really important when people are talking to you and if they're saying something that you don't agree with, that you really let them know that you don't agree and you're not receiving that. That's really important. So that's a practice that I really want to welcome you all to implement, and I am myself implementing more now. Okay, just really as I did a workshop with Dr. Finike last year. If you are not following Dr. Finike, check her out. That is a holistic practitioner I work with for years. But one of the things we talked about in From Trauma to Thriving was giving people back their stuff and not taking on other people's stuff. You know, last year I can't tell you how many times people told me things that I wasn't going to be able to do or things that I needed to stop doing. And I realized at the end of the day how those words had impacted me. So I would always have to do a moment of releasing what they placed on me and really returning it back to them so that they can work through their own shit. Okay, to be really clear. So be mindful of that. Be mindful of people putting their shit on you, their ideas, their conditioning, their limitations, their fears, their just the things that they haven't done, and projecting that onto you because they haven't done it or seen it work for themselves, or haven't, tapped into that space of courage and freedom to start executing some of their dreams. So be very mindful of that in this year. Be very mindful of that when it comes to your health as well, because it's not just our goals and our dreams, right? It's also our health. It's things that people say. It's different types of self-talk people have with themselves. And so they kind of place that on you. They place their habits, their struggles, and different things of that nature upon you. So it's very important that you don't let people project their struggles, their challenges, and their issues upon you. And at the same time, it's really important that you be mindful of how you're communicating with yourself. So be impeccable with your words, not only to others, your words to yourself. And so what I'm learning too is learning how not to commit to things and then go back and say that I'm not doing it. So what I've been really practicing myself is take time, and really it's coming back to me through sister friends. It's always coming back to me in conversation with people that are just on this same, light worker journey with me. Sit with things, sit with things. And I'm learning to really sit with things more before I make a definitive decision. I'm learning to really have a conversation with myself and say, is this something that you can do? So that's something that 2021 taught me. Like, really just pause for a second before you commit to anything or anyone, and ask yourself, is this something that you can do? And if so, how? And does it flow? Does it fit into everything else that you need to accomplish for you to be stable, for you to be balanced, for you to be well? So those three things, really processing that, how is this going to affect my overall balance in my life, work, life, personal, self-care, healing, all of those things. How is this going to affect that? Is this going to take away from anything? Is it going to add to anything before making a decision? So I want to say, being impeccable with our word. I love listening to that chapter of the 4 Agreements today. Being impeccable with your word. Understanding that your words are like spells, so you can spell out good things for yourself. You can spell out things that aren't good for yourself, and the same thing with others. And so we just need to be mindful of what we're taking in, what we're giving out, okay, for ourselves, and what we're giving to others, and what we're allowing others to project on us. So make sure to release people's shit back to them, okay? Release their things back to them. I release the things that you need to work through and the things that you projected on me back to you so that you can heal and work through those things and see yourself more clearly and do the things that you need to do on your path for your betterment, okay? And I release me of your opinion and your judgments. So, yeah, so that was a big lesson. Another 2021 thing that I learned was to, believe what people show you, not what you see them to be potentially, okay? So really be mindful of that, because sometimes when we see people through a lens of their potential from our eyes and our heart, it's not what they're showing us. It's not the season that they are in their life, and that's okay. It's their journey. So that's what I'm learning. When people show you who they are, trust that that is where they are in that season, and don't go off the potential that you see them of becoming, okay? And so when it comes, hey, beautiful, how are you? Happy 2022. Happy 2022, love. So I just want to say that, let's be impeccable with our words. Let's remember our words are like spells, so we can create a spell of all of the things that we really do want and desire and deserve. Okay, so just remember that, all right? And just remember that if people are projecting anything on you that is not reflective of what you deserve and what you desire, okay, or what you're working toward, that you can return it right back to them so that they can deal with and work through their own stuff. I lovingly return back to you what you have projected onto me. It is no longer here. It is now belonging to you so that you can work through it and heal yourself. So that's where we are. I also wanted to today, so like I said, this month in the newsletter, we're going to talk about what you're doing in the morning, what you're doing in the evening, what you're doing on your lunch break, okay, to keep you well. And so there are going to be little simple tools there for you to just stay afloat, okay? And we're also doing a customer appreciation practice. So please make sure that you'll sign up for the newsletter, because that class is going to be free and it's going to be virtual with me. And we're going to have a really wonderful, beautiful practice. It's going to be meditation. It's going to be asana. It's going to be a journal prompt. It's going to be just a melting pot of tapping into ourselves and then having a moment of community at the same time. Okay? So looking forward to that. Today, it resonated with me to pull out these chakra cards that someone gave me a while ago, Denise. And I'm just going to pull a card for our whole community. And I want to say before I pull this card that please remember, yes, I spoke on my post. Excuse me 1 second. I'm going to be reading Born for Purpose. Yes, I spoke on my post today about cutting the strings on your self-worth. Gotta expound upon that for me. But yes, definitely, this is the year. This is the year to really, I'm not even going to say this is the year. I feel like we've been working up to this, right? So, and sis, we've been working up to this, though. Every year prior to this has been pouring into this year in some form or fashion, okay? So we understand that a new year is a new year, okay? So what are we going to take lesson-wise and implement and put into practice in this year? What cycles are we releasing? What patterns are we releasing? And what people are we ready to let go of? And what people are we ready to cultivate a deeper relationship with? These are some things we can ask ourselves. And then, of course, there's always ourself, right? So are we willing to cultivate a deeper relationship with ourselves? The greatest declaration of self-love is to actually create a healthy, holistic, loving, nurturing, committed relationship with yourself. Okay, so the marriage to self is a beautiful thing, okay? And this, I believe, if people start getting married to themselves first, then their marriages will be healthier and more loving, okay? I truly, wholeheartedly believe that. And so that relationship with ourselves, taking time to share with yourself, dating yourself, getting to know yourself extensively. No, I didn't. You're good. I know technology. Dating yourself is a great exercise, whether you're single or in a relationship. I go back to the book, The Artist's Way, all the time, where Julia Cameron talks about just having, a discovery of a new place to keep your creativity alive, traveling a new route. The other day I was going to visit my cousin, and the GPS was telling me to take a certain way, and I don't even follow my GPS no more. I was laughing because another Louise, my girl Louise, said the same thing. I follow my intuitive GPS when I'm traveling, and what I notice is that it may be like 5 to 6 minutes or even 3 minutes sometimes longer on my route, or even if it's more than that. What I notice is that I pick the route of peace. And we have to really notice that about ourselves. Like, people will be like, yeah, you're going to be in traffic, but you'll get there faster. To me, traffic is stressful. And to me, driving on the highway can be stressful because people are just in such a rush to get somewhere. Usually a lot of people that take the highway are driving faster, and some of those people are in a rush to get somewhere. So I sometimes like to take the street routes. This allows me to discover new places. This allows me to do my breathing exercises more calmly as I'm driving. This allows me to drive and get to my destination with less stress. Okay, it allows me to manage my stress with more ease, okay, when I take the street. And I was on the phone with my cousin. I was coming to meet him, and I was telling him, I said, yeah, I'm not going to take the highway. He was like, yeah, you'll be in traffic, but I said, listen, let me tell you something about me. I'm all about my peace, okay? So I'm going to take the peaceful route, all right? And 285 to me in ATL, 285 is not the peaceful route, okay? It's just not. So I know that already. So every time I leave the house and I know 285 may be involved, I'm like, Khadee, you gotta leave a little earlier. That's a whole nother conversation. But but like I said, I follow my intuitive GPS, and that really is indicative of how I have been operating in my life more from my intuition in 2021. And it's so important that we trust ourselves, because we see when we don't trust ourselves, when things don't unfold how we thought they would, or like we get that nudge not to do something or to go a certain way, and then we do it anyway, we end up being upset with ourselves, or we end up being upset with somebody else if we listen to their advice. So, really tap into your intuition. That inner voice is telling you something. When something says, no, this is not right, and you feel like that it's not, listen to that, okay? So that's one thing I learned last year. We're going to pull two cards because it's 2022. I guess it would be 6 if we go by 222 though, but I'm not pulling no 6 cards. So like I said, it's going to be chakra cards today. And so I got 2 that fell out already. And these are just cards for guidance. I don't know who is going to need to hear the messages for these 2 chakras, but we're going to see if it resonates with me, and then you can see if it resonates with you. So one thing I want to focus on this year on this IG, as well as my YouTube and everything else, which I have been focusing on independently, like in my own practice, but I really want to put it out into the world, that we can create a ripple effect of peace through prayer and meditation. I heard that one time when I listened to a reading, and I thought it was so powerful, because a lot of times we feel like we need to constantly be in do mode to impact change. And when I talk about do mode, I mean physical activity, okay? So a lot of times we are in this, like I said, do mode in this society that we are in, right? And then like everything runs on a schedule, on this, on that, So there's all these different ways we are told to do things. And sometimes all of those ways that we're told to do things take us away from our spiritual compass, okay? So I really want to get into sharing more about how we can energetically create the life that we want. We can energetically send people love, healing energy, all of those things, send that out into the world, send that to those around us, send that to those who are in need. And at the same time, we can be a physical service as well. Sometimes you're not able to always be a physical service to everyone else and be of service to yourself though. So it's really important that we understand the power of prayer and meditation. It's really important that we understand the power of holistic practices and how that can shift not only your life, the lives of those around you. So we'll be talking about a lot of that this month in January, okay? Specifically through what you're doing in the morning, what you're doing before bed, and what you're doing on your lunch break, okay? So all of those different things. So the goal is this year, though, to make sure that you are having your cup runneth over, you're nurturing yourself so that you can pour into everything and everyone that you need to, okay? So that's right, I concur. Everything isn't earned. Some things are created just by being. Let's go. Yes, born for purpose. Absolutely. You're absolutely right, sis. That's right. And I want to read that again. Everything isn't earned. Some things are created just by being. Absolutely. Absolutely. And if we go on further, everything is created by our being, right? And behind us being is also the legwork, right? So we have to find a balance between the physical movement and the stillness and everything else, because we need to know that our rest is essential to us doing the things that we need to. Our rest, our restoration, filling ourselves up, making sure that we are nurtured, making sure that our diets are balanced, that we are eating the foods that agree with us, that we are, getting adequate rest, that we are meditating, that we are moving our body in the way that we choose to. Everybody has a different practice. I tend to say that yoga asana is yoga asana, but for me, every yoga is an energetic practice. So any type of movement that you're doing where you're releasing energy, where you're moving energy, to me, that's yoga. Okay, because this is not only a practice that is on your mat. This is a practice that reflects everything you will do in life, that pours into yourself, that nourishes yourself, and also in turn nourishes others. That is what it is. It's a way of life. It is a way of living a well, loving, happy, prosperous, aware, mindful, accountable life. Okay, so I pulled 2 chakra cards, y'all. So I'm going to just show you guys. I pulled the second chakra. All right. So we may need to. Okay. I'm not going to even say may need to. Creativity is essential. Okay. Creativity, tapping into our creativity is essential. And a lot of times we think of, people are like, I'm not creative because I'm not an artist. I'm not a singer. I'm not this. That is not what creativity is. Creativity is understand. That is not all creativity is. Let me say that. Creativity is understanding that you are a co-creator with spirit, with God, with a higher power, whatever you relate to. You need to understand that everything you do, you are creating something. Okay? So we are all creative beings. All right? When you're in the kitchen cooking, you're creating. When you are getting in your car and you're having a conversation with that person that done cut you off on the highway, you're creating something, right? Which is why I am very mindful about road rage, okay? So I catch myself sometimes because I'll be ready to flip the bird, and then I'll be like, love and light, get to your destination safely. I'm getting to my destination safely. So we just are being mindful about those things. And I know it's a big thing about, oh, express anger, do this. Yes, you must express anger. You must release those emotions. Absolutely. Let's be mindful about how and where we are doing it though. Okay. So definitely we don't want to express anger and road rage. Okay. Because that energy that person has put out on the road to send to you, essentially, when we talked about releasing energy and returning it back to other people, send them a well wish, and, make a priority to yourself that you're going to be safe on the road, and you're not going to give power to that, okay? Because getting to your destination safely in your car, your children, and everybody that's in is your number one priority, not going back and forth with somebody on the road that doesn't care about their life, okay? So we pulled the second chakra, okay? I realized I'm gonna read your comment, Born for Purpose. I realized right before the new year that I have to stay in a creative space until it's stifling. Ooh, interesting. Unless it's stifling. Got you. Excuse me. I realized before the new year that I have to stay in a creative space unless it's stifling. I got you. Okay. You may need to expound upon unless it's stifling. Are you speaking of other people's spaces, like when they have creative spaces where they may put restrictions on you expressing yourself creatively? Because I can definitely understand that. That's another thing. I'm actually glad you spoke on that too. What I'm learning too is we have to be able to take what we need and leave the rest. That was one of my biggest lessons from 2021. A lot of times I would just be very final with certain things. People will do things that rub me in the wrong way or trigger me, and I'll be like, you know what, I'm gonna quit this membership, I'm gonna leave this place, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And last year, I'm really proud of myself. I made a commitment, I kept my word, and I actually stayed committed to something for a year. I saw how it went. I noticed how everybody was moving. I took account of what I received in this space. I took account of the things that were questionable. I took account of the things that uplifted me, and I took account of the things that didn't feed me. And so I took it within, though. I took it in. And so that's another thing I learned in 2021 as well. I learned to take a lot of things in as far as if someone did something, I pose the question to myself, have we ever done this to ourselves before? How are we feeling about ourselves, doing things in this way right now? And are you, is there something that you're not getting in this moment from this person or from you? So I would have those reflective moments with myself just to really go deeper into it and to make sure that I can make an informed decision, not based on my emotions, but based on everything that I have, assessed from the outside as well as the inside. All forms not harnessing the power of creation in general. Got it. Okay. So I want to read the sacral card for you, for us all, okay? This 2022. Second chakra, sacral chakra, sexuality. I honor and respect my sexuality, and I allow the natural flow of my feelings. I acknowledge that my sexual thoughts and feelings will arise, and I release unnecessary guilt regarding sex. I'm open to the positive sensual feelings coming to me from others. At the same time, I keep my sexual activities well directed and in balance. So I actually love this card, and some of y'all might be like, what? So that was another thing that was brought to me last year as well. Sexual energy is creative energy. So really understanding that honoring our sexuality is not always having sex with another person. At times it's exploring our own body, exploring our own sensations, exploring our own desires. Not even at times, it is that. It's exploring our sensuality as well. Senses. How we experience pleasure through all of our senses. Seeing, feeling, smelling, okay? Touch, taste. How do we experience pleasure through all of our senses, and do we allow ourselves that? Do we allow ourselves that even when we're having our meals? I eat really fast, y'all. So this year I also started slowing down how fast I eat. I started really chewing my food slower, really taking the time to be I started really smelling things more. I always keep flowers in my house. That was one of the things my mind, body, spirit practitioner suggested to me years ago. So when I keep flowers in my house, it really helps me because, one, I love how beautiful they are. So I started putting flowers in each major room of my house. There's flowers in my kitchen, flowers in both my bathrooms, and flowers in my bedroom. The only area right now that's missing flowers is my living room. So I'm going to get some flowers for my living room today. Not today, maybe this week. So, but anyway, there's flowers in every other room in this house. And I realized it just gives another spirit of just love in my space, right? But I'm also stopping to smell them. I'm allowing myself to see the colors in the flowers. And so it just makes me smile, having flowers in every room. So when we talk about exploring our sexuality, we're talking about, like I said, not only sex with a partner, we're talking about exploring our own bodies and being able to define what our needs are, what our pleasures are, what do we like? How do I like to feel? How do I like to be touched? How do I like to, what type of smells do I like? And how does smells that I don't like make me feel, right? So we're really taking a deep dive into sexuality, taking a deep dive into creative energy, procreation, right? So we're always creating something. We're taking a deep dive even into the words that we speak, how we listen, how we are speaking, all of those things. So I think this card is so powerful because of that. And I think we can take it so much deeper. And we can also not guilt ourselves for having the sexual desires. But it also says at the end of this, I keep my sexual activities well directed and in balance. Okay? So that's something that we can explore on a physical level as well. Who are you sharing yourself with? Okay, and I know on this page I normally don't get deep into this, but I'm looking forward to this year because we're gonna get into some deep wellness, y'all, because that's what I'm here for. That's what Akoma Bloom wellness is really about, okay? It's about exploring every single aspect of wellness. So there is no shame in talking about sex. And that's one of these things. I'm so glad this card came up because I really, really, really want to explore all of these things more. I'm going to read your comment. I eat slow, and every second I do the same with flowers and stop to smell them, even if I'm just going to the bathroom. I find it so helpful to be present. It's so helpful to be present. I totally agree. It is an activity of mindfulness. To me, that's what mindfulness is. I know we hear all these complicated definitions. Being mindful is literally being present in the moment, being able to pause, being able to be like, you know what, I'm doing one thing right now. Last night, I got out the shower. I have this thing that I do. I get out the shower and I be like, oh, okay, cool. Let me do the dishes real quick because I took my shower. Last night, I was like, no, we're not doing the dishes. We're going upstairs. We're doing one thing at a time. Right now is your shower time. It's your time to do your self-massage. It's your time to moisturize your body. We're not doing anything else. Okay? So I did that for myself. All right. And sometimes I actually need to put on a frequency to tell myself to stop. So one of the reasons why I started a holistic wellness business is this business was born out of my own need to heal and share this with others who I saw going running around with like a chicken without a head. Y'all know. So, but it was born out of that, okay? To really help me slow down, help me be mindful, help other people do the same, and really to see that when we slow down, we're not missing out on nothing. But when you rush, you're missing out on yourself, okay? And then when you miss out on yourself, you miss out on others too. You miss out on opportunities. You miss out on different things and different people, okay? And sometimes when we rush so much, it could also work the other way. You're missing out on yourself, but you're rushing to do everything for everybody and everything else. Okay, so this, to me, honoring even our sexuality is not rushing the process. It's really tapping into our sensual nature, our creative nature, right? And it's also understanding that you can transmute sexual energy. I definitely, book 2 of my books, by the way, which I'll share on this page, I'll share on my other page, but it's Journey to Celibacy. So it's about my celibacy journey. And so it's great that I picked up this card because when you're on a journey to celibacy, there's a lot of things that arise, trust me. But one thing today you don't tend to, yep, that's right. If you don't tend to you, you will lose you. That's right. So tend to yourself, So the way to fix that is just to make a commitment to yourself. Be impeccable with your word, with you first and foremost. If you have to reschedule and change plans and change your mind for a while on some things, it's better to do that and communicate it than to like leave things unsaid, okay? So I'm really big on that, and I feel like that's a way to working toward being impeccable with your word. Eventually, like I said, one of the things in 2021 I really learned was to sit with things a little bit more and not to make abrupt decisions so that I won't have to go back and change my mind and reschedule. Okay, so that's another thing we can do. But until then, you need to understand that you are human. Okay, there's a part of us that's human too. So we will have to change plans sometimes. Life will shift, things will happen, and we'll have to go back and reschedule or change things. And then sometimes we really just realize that we need a moment to ourselves. Okay, so don't force yourself to do things if you haven't recharged. That was another big lesson I learned, okay? You know, they talk about protecting your energy. One of the greatest ways to protect your energy is to make sure that your cup runneth over and that you are nurturing and taking care of yourself so that you are not susceptible to energy vampires and drainage, okay, when you go out into the world, okay? The more you take care of yourself, the more protected you are, okay? That's against anything, cold, flu, whatever else is flying around, okay? I'm not going to get into all of that right now, but we always have a responsibility to take care of ourselves. Regardless of what we choose to do on the surface, our inner world calls us to take care of ourselves, to tend to ourselves, all right? And that translates to our outer world as well, okay? So that card, I'm going to just put it on the screen so you can see it. And it's the sacral chakra, and it's all about sexuality, honoring your sexuality. And as I talked about, you can transmute sexual energy into creative projects, into just being creative in everything that you do, okay? Trying new recipes, writing, dancing, singing, and it doesn't have to be a podcast or a broadcast. It could literally be you getting in the mirror and dancing with yourself, singing a song you really love to the top of your lungs. So these are easy ways to actually work on your chakras without feeling like, oh my gosh, this stuff is too deep to me. Start where you are, okay? So we already have everything we need equipped inside of us. So I'm going to be getting into that in this month's newsletter, like I talked about. How you woke up. I woke up like this, okay? I woke up like this. I woke up in the bed this morning and I took a moment to myself and did some breathing, okay? I did 5 breaths. I got quiet. I let myself be for a moment, okay? I listened to frequencies. That was my quiet time. That was my mindful moment. It's going to look different for everybody. You just need to be making sure that you're doing something to start off your day with you. Always set the tone with you. Always get into, even men, get into your feminine when you get up. And that's all about, like I said, you can sing, you can dance, you can have a moment of meditation and breath, connecting to yourself. The feminine is feeling, okay? Simple as that, okay? And so a lot of times when men are out of balance, men and women both, is when we're rushing and we're not taking time to feel, okay? Do a body scan in the morning when you get up, all right? Check in with yourself. Really ask, how do I feel this morning, okay? What am I grateful for today? And so I don't know if I started the video off like that, but I'm so grateful to everybody that is tuning in today. I'm so grateful to everybody that has subscribed. I'm so grateful to everybody that did yoga in 2021. I'm so grateful to everybody that read, purchased, supported, congratulated me on releasing my first book, okay? Because it is an extension of my holistic wellness to create and to tap into my creative side. So thank you so much for your love and your support and your presence. Thank you to everyone who has supported in some form or fashion, congratulated, purchased, practiced yoga, showed up, sent me a text, said, how you doing, Khadeshia? Whatever it was, okay? Thank you. So just want to say that. So having that gratitude, appreciation moment in the morning, also taking it into you. Because sometimes I'll ask my children now, what are you grateful for? They'll take a moment to think. And so I always bring it back to the basics, okay? You living, you speaking, you breathing, you're thinking, you're feeling. If we got to go there each and every day to say, you know what? There are some people that aren't able to feel in certain parts of their bodies, okay? This morning, I want to breathe and I want to feel for those people and send some love out to them. And I also want to give thanks that I am living, breathing, feeling, speaking, and thinking. Okay? And I'm able to hear too. All right? So start with your basic senses. Whatever your basic senses that are working for you well, start with those. Start with your hands, your toes, your fingers, your eyes, whatever it is. Okay? Begin there. All right, so that was sacral chakra. We pulled that, and it's so fitting that I talked about exploring all the things, the simple things, the things that we think are simple, but really our body works so perfectly. It really and truly does. And it's receptive to healing, y'all. So give it what it needs. Your body is receptive to healing, all right? As long as you are. So get your mind in a place where you are always receptive and open to healing and doing the things and being so that you can heal, okay? Wherever you need to heal, wherever you need to fill up and replenish your energy. All right, so that's sacral. The other card I pulled, oh, this is great. This is actually perfect. I pulled the crown chakra. So we're talking about meditation, right? All right. So the crown chakra, the 7th chakra, one with all. So remember I talked about creating that ripple effect of peace through prayer and meditation? This is that, okay? It's understanding that we are essentially all one, okay? And I know that's hard to believe sometimes because you be like, that person did da 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 da. we're all one. Okay, we all come from the same source. Okay, so we need to remember that, and that's really where we find compassion at. That's really where we're able to pray for people that do hurtful things. Okay, and so now where I'm at with it is the 7th chakra. All right, so if we all believe in a creator, regardless of what you believe, we are all created, right? So we're all created from one source, which is what I believe. All right, so we're at the 7th chakra, the crown chakra. One with all. Okay, I feel the divine force flowing through me. I honor this, and I know it flows through all. I am calm in knowing that I am one with all, and I contemplate and meditate on this fact. I regularly remind myself that we are all from the same source, and that we are all on a journey as spiritual beings experiencing this physical existence. I am aware that I have a choice as to how I respond to what is happening in my life. My responses have an enormous effect on my spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical well-being. So I actually want to read this card again, specifically this last part. I regularly remind myself that we are all from the same source, and that we are all on a journey as spiritual beings experiencing this physical existence. We are all on a journey as spiritual beings experiencing this physical existence. I am aware that I have a choice as to how I respond to what is happening in my life. My responses have an enormous effect on my spiritual, emotional, and physical well-being. So, this can be hard sometimes to remember because of how sometimes human beings act. I get it. The reality of it is, though, we are all spiritual beings having a human experience, okay? I wholeheartedly believe this to be true. I know it to be true. And that's going to be that. So in knowing that we are all spiritual beings having a human experience, that's where our power lies, okay? So a lot of times we get in conflict with people because we forget that everybody has a path. And you know, one of the hardest things for me to learn was that everybody's path is not a light path in this lifetime. However, I know that mine is. So when you understand what you are here to do, you honor that, and you mind your own path and let people travel on theirs. So we're all here to fulfill our own unique purpose, and in doing that, we impact others. And I want to impact people in a loving and positive way, okay? And that's how I want to impact myself as well. That's how I have been impacting myself as well. So I'll tell you something that helps me with my crown chakra. Affirmations really help me with my crown chakra, positive affirmations, as well as meditation, as well as regular focused breathing, okay? Because I'm constantly reminded through reinforcing positive thoughts into my brain that I'm so much greater than this shell that we see, that I'm having a human experience, I'm a spiritual being, and if I remember that, then I have a lot more power than someone just operating that from being a human being, okay? So what I want to say is just remember that this is the shell, y'all, okay? This is a shell, all right? So if you forget that you are more than this shell, then you're not tapping into the infinite well of power that you are, okay? So tap into that infinite well of power. Remember that your spirit is always present within you, okay? Whether you tap into it or not. When you tap into it, though, you get to harness your power. You get to create from that space, okay? You get to co-create with the Most High. Let me read your comment, Born for Purpose. I also wrote in my journal that just like I don't have to earn my worth, no one else does it. Now, there are things that are projected that is unacceptable. That does not mean condemning someone or making someone feel less because of their projection, aka the experience. Absolutely, I totally agree. I totally agree. That's right. I totally, you know what's interesting? I just had a conversation with someone. I tried to have a conversation with a person. It was very difficult to talk to this person because what I realized in the conversation was that I was talking to their trauma and not them. So a lot of times people are communicating with their trauma. It is not the actual person. And so that's why this card is so important. That's why tapping into our spirit and understanding that God is within us and we co-create with God is so important. Because if we forget that, then when we get into conversations with people and it's their pain speaking to them, their pain speaking through them to you, okay? It can be very challenging and it can be hurtful even to you. So while I was in the conversation, it was so difficult to speak to this person. I ended up just wishing them all the power, the healing power that love had to offer them, okay? And I understood my assignment from God. I understood God's assignment for me. And I understood the assignment that God gave this person in my life to help me move past my limiting beliefs and lack. So I was grateful in that moment that I had a lot of discoveries about myself through that relationship. And so what I did is I politely returned that person, their pain and their trauma, so that they can work through that and heal themselves through the love that God gives us all, okay? It's through God's love. So, yep, hurt people. Sometimes there's nothing you can do but show by example. You know what? I totally agree, Kwame. Peace and blessings. So yeah, hurt people, absolutely. So that's why it's so important that we heal. And so what's going on? I'm so glad I pulled these two cards today. I'm so glad I pulled the crown and the sacral chakra, because sacral is all about relationships and crown is all about our spirit. So if we navigate through our spirit to work through our relationships and work on them, the relationship with self and relationship with others, we can always take that loving route, okay? We can also take that detaching route as well, as you spoke about, showing by example. And sometimes the best way to show people by example is by loving them from a distance and exiting physically out of their life. So I wholeheartedly believe in that. So, gosh, this was good. So we ended with a spirit card, which is wonderful. And what I intended to do today was to actually do a moment of meditation. So we can do a meditation today. And the affirmation is, through prayer and meditation, I create a ripple effect of peace within me and out into the world, okay? So through prayer and meditation, I create a ripple effect of peace within me and out into the world. That is our affirmation, okay? And I just want to say, if you're watching this right now, it's so important that we take the time to really dissect our trauma and the things that we've had happen in our life that has caused us hurt and pain, for our own well-being and also for the well-being of others that we come into contact with, okay? It is so important to do that, all right? So that we don't continue the cycle of hurt people. So here, right now, today, if that applies to something or someone in your life, you can say, I release the cycle of hurt people, hurting people, okay? So this is the card. So I'm gonna go ahead and get ready for us to do a moment of meditation together. Happy 2022. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that we're doing this. I'm so happy. I feel good. I felt cool to do this video. I had a lot of administrative stuff to do, but something told me, you know what, do the live while it resonates with you and it's in your spirit. So I'm glad and I'm really happy that y'all are tuned in. And if you will find whatever is comfortable for you, laying, sitting, standing, wherever is accessible to you as far as a position to just be still for a moment, okay? All right, and then just face your palms up wherever you are so you can receive some love this morning, all right? And all my well wishes and prayers for you for 2022 and beyond, okay? I'm sending so much love, healing, vibrations, and gratitude out to everybody who is present on this live, who has supported Akoma Bloom Wellness, who has supported KhadeshiaBeam.com. I truly appreciate you, and I'm so grateful that we got to experience each other in 2021, and I look forward to what 2022 has to offer in the way of love, prosperity, and gentle healing. All right, so let's close our eyes, and let's take a big breath in, and let it out of the mouth or the nose. I'm going to take 3 breaths. One more. Last one. Sit with that. Let your shoulders just relax. Chin is centered, parallel to the floor. Brief scan from the top of your head to your toes, checking in. How are you feeling today? Don't judge how you feel. Ask the question, receive the answer, and know that however it is that you're feeling, that you have the power to transform that into something even more pleasurable. If it's a feeling that is not the best today, you are taking this time with yourself. So please extend some thank you to yourself for stopping and pausing and actually acknowledging how you feel. And then let's start to just breathe in expansively, breathing in through the nose, allowing the breath to travel down into the belly. Exhaling from the belly all the way up till we get out of the mouth or the nose, your choice. And repeating the breath just like that, expansive inhale. Long exhale. Expansive inhale. Long exhale. Continue to breathe in and out slowly and deeply. I create a ripple effect of peace inwardly and outwardly through prayer and meditation. I'm going to add to that. I create a ripple effect of peace in my inner world and outer world through prayer and meditation. I create a ripple effect of peace into my inner world and the outer world through prayer and meditation. Just close your mouth and let your natural pattern of breath start to flow as you recite the affirmation. I create a ripple effect of peace into my inner world and in the outer world through prayer and meditation. To allow yourself to release the affirmation and just sit in silence with yourself for this last moment. Remember what I said, whatever comes up feeling, thought-wise, you are allowing yourself to be in observation. Release the judgment, release any criticism, release any trying to figure things out. in this moment. Just allow yourself to be here and to observe. That is always enough. Take a deep breath in and a full breath out. Bow your head down over your heart and just bring your hand onto your heart, whichever one resonates with you, and then put the other one on top and really just feel your heart today. Just feel the pace of your heart beating. Please give thanks for your life exactly as it is today. You could have incarnated as anything else. You are a human being. Human beings are equipped to do miraculous things. You have the power to tap into miracles. The miracles within you and the miracles outside of you. So please believe that. Believe what you want you can have. Believe that what you deserve is coming to you. And release anything that contradicts what you want, what you desire, and what you deserve. Thank you all for being with me. Remember to take time and pause and just feel your heart, okay? We have so much to be grateful for. Go within if it's hard to see it on the outside. Welcome yourself to go within. Remember that home is always inside of you. Visit it often through prayer, through meditation. Visit your spiritual house. Ashe. So thank you so much for meditating and for listening today. Listen, y'all, happy 2022, and I just want to start off with gratitude, like I said, through this practice, through the message, and I just want to say thank you so much for your openness, for your presence, for watching, for sharing, for everything that you have given me in the way of positivity, love, support, encouragement. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you, and I am sending you back lots of love, prosperity, and abundance of all that is good this year and beyond. Ashe, sis. All right, peace, y'all. Thank you.